What if I told you that nearly every first impression is almost entirely based on visuals? A staggering 94% are to be exact. That's current study. Now take a moment, let that sink in. How does your church's brand hold up under that kind of scrutiny? Join us as we uncover the secrets of visual aesthetics and discover how you can dramatically improve your initial perception of your church. Are you ready to see what you're missing? Now, users decide how they feel about a website and a brand in under 1 second. Let that sink in. Under 1 second, people instinctively decide what they think about your church brand and website. 94% of impressions on websites are entirely based on how it looks. See, when website traffic hits your website, they make a split-second decision on past experiences. There's literally filters that subconsciously inside themselves. If your landing page, it's like a crossroad. Which one to take? If it's beautifully paved, in seconds are like, you know what, I'm going there. But you know, if it's a mess and man, the dirt road, and it's like, what is that? The aesthetics are a path they're not accustomed to without realizing. It's like, boom, they bounce, they're gone. So if your church brand and website are a mess, it feels off and there's this friction like a dirt road. Because when you look at these choices right here, which one would you take? Well, you would take the path of least resistance. You would take, of course, the paved road. You would take what you know because you know that paved road. Someone put the work in, it's good. If something's not right, boom, immediately. The traffic isn't going any further. That's why you can spend a lot of money on a digital outreach system. But if you don't get this right, this is a pitfall that's going to waste all of your money and all of your effort if you don't get this piece right. You see, you may wonder, where are the church visitors? Why aren't they listening to our messages? Why are they falling on deaf ears? You see, why are people ignoring us online? And in my early career, I started in missions and evangelism, and I learned something that's so powerful about reaching people. You have to reach them in their language and their culture. You see, it seems like a simple revelation, yet today we have a language of media, and people have expectations because the world's flat. This media is all over the world. And so what's happened is people have expectations for media, expectations for aesthetics. They're expecting something visually. So when you speak to them, you need to be thinking and acting like a digital missionary. The gospel never changes, but the methods do. So you have to come so it's not falling on deaf ears. You need to be able to speak their language to start the conversation. This brings us to your brand and your design. Who are you speaking to? What language are you speaking? Are you speaking their language? Because if you are, you're going to grab them and pull them into the conversation. You're going to grab them and have an opportunity to share Christ with them, or an opportunity to be the one to take them in their next steps digitally and then physically, next steps with the Lord. But if you're not on point in these other areas, then you know what? You're not going to be able to go any further with them. You must speak their language. So let me ask you a question. The narrative that we often construct around our brand and our website, especially for our church, it's often filled with optimism and a sense of purpose. However, when growth stagnates and just things become just declining and lackluster, it might indicate a disconnect between the story we believe in ourselves and our church body and the reality experienced by our few church visitors. There could be something that's stopping our growth, even without us realizing. Now let's take a moment to avoid the pitfalls that could be stopping your growth. But first, you need to be willing to ask the hard questions. Let's stop for a moment. And if you're getting some value out of this video, hit the subscribe and drop a "I'm ready to grow" in the comments down below. Now, here's 5 steps to examine your church brand. Let's take a moment to refine and just look at your church brand. And you have to ask the hard questions and be honest. Number 1, conduct a thorough brand audit. Really get out there. Look at your brand. Look at one way to do that. We have an actual church evaluation brand audit guide in the description down below. We would encourage you, go ahead and click that link. Take our brand guide. It'll take you into a very thorough brand audit where you can get some ideas on what you need to ask, what you need to look at. Next is number 2, you need to gather some honest feedback. Asking people outside of your church, those that have a certain perception of the brand. Go outside. We've often, when we're rebranding, one time we were doing a legacy brand and just, a very large ministry, we're going out, and to get them, they told us they wanted to reach the younger generation. So we went out in a whole nother area of the country, went out going and just asking young people, because it was a large international brand. We're asking young people, asking those on the college campuses, asking the 20-somethings, the 30-somethings, those they wanted to reach. And we took back the video footage and they were shocked. They were shocked at the honest feedback. They're like, what? Then they realized, whoa, this is what this generation thinks of our brand. We need to rebrand. And we made major shifts. We were able to give them an amazing rebrand that the next generation just thrived and really engaged in helping them reach out and make those steps. Number 3, analyze your website and your social media. So really take the time to really dive in and analyze the data. Look at, how many people are visiting, how are your social media doing, what is the engagement? Look at the numbers and let them speak for themselves. And then seek expert guidance. Go out and look for help, engage. Our team, we're constantly helping and consulting and, working and reaching out and helping with churches and ministries that need help in this area. But the main thing is find some help. Number 5, get a brand and website, just refresh. If you look at all the data and you realize it's not connecting, you're not reaching people, well then make the investment and get a new brand, new website, because before we get into the digital outreach system and what AI can do for you and driving traffic, remember that crossroads. If we're driving traffic to your site, we can bring a flood of traffic, but if you're not ready, the biggest pitfall we see is that you're just going to waste money and waste time because the aesthetics aren't right for all of your digital pathways. So it's like the foundation is not correct. And if you don't get the foundation correct, none of the rest of this matters, because we can't drive you the growth because you're not going to keep the traffic. You're not going to have the experiences because your brand and website are off. Therefore, you've got to get that right first. So stop, take a look at that evaluation down below in the description. Take some time to dive in and have an honest examination and to refine your church brand's narrative. Now, our team's been honored to help struggling churches in this area with growth. It all starts with design, a rebrand, an amazing website, social media, targeting who you want to reach. So if you need some additional help, you want to check out that church brand evaluation guide by PMF in the description. Man, take a look. That's absolutely free. We'll help you navigate the process. But always start with your design before driving traffic. And remember, trust in the Lord and do more good.